Troy first and then Wes.
Will, when did you find out that you were getting the ball today, and I guess just what was working for you out there tonight?
Pretty late actually. So Chad V talked about it. He's just going through a little soreness. Thought he was going to give it a go. We kind of tightened up, I guess. I don't really know. So he kind of came up to me a little late and was like, "Hey man, go get him." And I was like, "Cool." I kind of figured I would throw today, regardless, just because of Humley and Redmond being taxed so much last Sunday. So try to get them that extra day rest when you got a whole weekend ahead of you. But what was working for me was just throwing strikes, and I think that was the biggest deal, is not having to walk, and then mixing speeds, do a lot of changeups tonight, and then we played error free. I was the only error, and that was on that bunt that I casted a little bit up the first baseline. So that's a recipe for success.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of guys pitchers will say, I need to know my certain role, whether I'm, kind of a closer, a setup man, a starter, a middle relief guy. But you seem to be a guy who's like, if it's one lefty I'm facing, or if I'm going to go start, it's the same thing. Have you always kind of been wired that way, or is that something you've kind of learned as you've gotten older to kind of embrace different roles?
No, that's always been me. I'm short and I'm left-handed, so growing up, I would start and travel ball, and then when I was young in high school, I would relieve because I was on some pretty good teams with some older pitchers, and then started later on, and then kind of the same deal here. When you play for a team as competitive as we are within the team, any inning is very valuable, and so I've never really cared, and I'm the old guy, so I've been there, done that, kind of seen. Each season, each game, each series is mutually exclusive for sure, but having that experience is definitely helpful because at the end of the day, it's just going out there and pitching. So, it is nice to know kind of what they, if you're coming to get one guy, like that's your determination is to get that guy out. And then when you're a starter, your determination is kind of get through as many of them as you can. So I think you just kind of take a task as it comes and play baseball. That's the simplest way to put it.
All right, we'll go to Ben next and then Ryan.
Will, that double play there after the bunt situation seemed to kind of give you a boost going into those next couple of innings? Just how big of a pitch was that for you to get out of that jam and kind of carry you over into the next couple of innings?
Yeah, that was massive. Liam and Ferg did a great job of rolling that up. And, you're not going to go through a game unscathed. And even when you're kind of rolling, there's typically one inning where you either have to limit the damage or kind of scoot out of it like I did right there. So they strung a couple at bats together. I think they had a dribbler go through the hole and then a hard hit, base hit, and then the bunt. So that's kind of the inning, and you don't want to give up the damage because here's a little fun fact Coach A talks about a lot is most of the times a game is decided when a team scores more runs in one inning than a team scores in all of them combined. So limiting that big inning can be a huge deal. And that was huge for us at that moment. And then kind of settled in and got a couple quick innings after that. Anybody else?
Yeah, sorry about that. Couldn't hit the mute button. When was the last time that you started a game, not just kind of in the opener role, and then how different did it feel out there when you were there in 6th, 7th straight inning pitching?
Yeah, so the last start I had was in August of 2019 in Harwich. It was the Cape Cod playoffs, and I was kind of the closer up there, and a couple guys had gone down and a couple guys had went home, had reached their innings limit. And so we were in the playoffs and we had gotten really hot at the time. And I had kind of been pushing for a start because it was, summer ball is a different environment. It's just laid back and everybody's trying to get better and show off their stuff. So it was kind of that situation. But I ended up going six innings in that playoff start and we got the win. So that was the last time. But before that, I think it was a midweek game at ETSU, I think, was kind of the last like true starter or a midweek game like that.
We'll take two more for Will. We'll go to Hayden and then back to Wes.
Will, hitters pretty much all night were kind of late on your fastballs. Can you credit that to just pouring strikes in the zone all night, as well as throwing a lot of off-speed pitches?
Yeah. So anytime you can throw changeups or sliders consistently for strikes, your fastball will play up, right? Because then they'll start to guess, and that's just a bad recipe. I was a hitter at one point, and I know that I would much rather have a pretty good idea of what's coming rather than flipping a coin. So I think that's definitely part of it. And when you can get ahead and they're not really sure what's coming, even when you do get ahead with a fastball, then they're really not sure if you're going to come back with it again or go change up. So that's probably why they were a little bit late.
Yeah. Well, I know that you think of college baseball, a lot of times you think of, there's just not always a lot of seniors around. There's, especially in JUCOs, there's 1-2 year guys, guys transfer a lot, guys like you and Pete, and I know there's a couple of others, but guys who have been around for so much longer than usual. Does that, make the locker room or the clubhouse feel a little different? Is there something just a little bit unique about that role and sort of the opportunity y'all have?
Well, it is, and everything about this is unique. We have guys that probably wouldn't be here regardless of what happened last year, just because of a 5-round draft. That shrunk and that saturated the talent. A lot of draft eligible juniors ended up coming back. A lot of high schoolers that probably wouldn't have shown up ended up coming to school. So that's definitely a factor. And then the fact that everybody got another year of eligibility back is a huge deal. And so it does make a difference in the locker room, just kind of a little bit of a calming factor. Because there's ups and downs through every baseball season, and even in the fall there's kind of days where you're not really feeling it, or days where you really are feeling it, and you got to make sure that you stay as even keeled as possible. And being older definitely helps with that, but we also it takes the right type of guy. And so we don't just have old guys who have been here and they're here because they can't get their stuff together. We have old guys that have done things the right way for a long time, and that's kind of part of the reason we've been able to build this program to where it is now, and hopefully something that helps us take it a lot further from here on out.
Thanks, Will. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.